I told my daughter to hit below the belt, not literally, but in her school debate about climate change. Emma was nervous because she was going against Tommy Peterson, whose dad owns 3 car dealerships and always brags about their family's money. Tommy had been making fun of Emma's arguments all week, saying poor kids don't understand business and economics. When she came home crying yesterday, asking if we could afford to buy her new clothes so she'd look more credible, my heart broke. That's when I gave her the advice that would change everything. I'd watched my daughter work twice as hard as her classmates just to be taken seriously, and I was tired of seeing her doubt herself because of some rich kid's comments. Sweetheart, I said, sometimes you have to hit below the belt with the truth. I told her to research Tommy's family business and find out what they're really doing for the environment. Emma spent all night digging through public records, news articles, and the dealership's own website. What she found was pure gold. While Tommy's dad claimed to care about the environment in his TV commercials, his dealerships had been cited multiple times for improper disposal of motor oil and had lobbied against electric vehicle incentives in our state. She even found records showing they'd fought against emissions testing requirements and had been caught falsifying inspection reports. Emma printed everything out and organized it into a folder like she was preparing a legal case. The next day during the debate, Tommy started with his usual routine about how his family creates jobs and contributes to the economy. He smugly claimed that environmental regulations hurt working families and that people like Emma's family just didn't understand business. The whole class was nodding along because Tommy always sounded so confident and well-informed. He even made a joke about how some people think feelings matter more than facts, clearly targeting Emma. That's when Emma struck. She pulled out her research and calmly started reading the EPA violations, the lobbying records, and the environmental impact reports. Her voice was steady and professional as she laid out each piece of evidence. Tommy, Emma said, your family's dealerships have been fined $200,000 in the past 5 years for environmental violations. Your dad spent $50,000 lobbying against clean energy bills while claiming to support green initiatives on his website. If you want to talk about understanding business, maybe you should understand that your family's business model depends on ignoring environmental costs and passing them on to everyone else. She continued reading specifics, dates, dollar amounts, and exact violations. The classroom went dead silent. Tommy's face turned bright red, and for the first time ever, he had nothing to say. Even his usual supporters were staring at him in shock. The teacher was so impressed with Emma's research that she used it as an example of how to support arguments with facts instead of personal attacks. Tommy actually came up to Emma after class and apologized for making fun of her family's financial situation. He said he never realized how much his dad's business actually hurt the environment and that Emma had opened his eyes. He even asked if she could help him understand more about environmental issues because he'd been repeating things without really knowing what they meant. Later that week, Emma won the school-wide debate competition, and her confidence soared. The local newspaper even wrote a story about her research methods. Sometimes hitting below the belt means hitting them with the truth they've been trying to hide.